Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Anthony Avina. Welcome to this week's episode of the Writer's Corner podcast. This is episode 63 of the Writer's Corner podcast, and this week we're going to be discussing a more personal topic to me, and I think this will help a lot of other authors out there and writers when they're thinking about writing. This is a question I think every author should ask themselves, and I'm going to discuss a few things with you concerning this, and that is what I hope readers get out of reading my book. It's as simple as that. When an author sits down to write their book, one main question you should always ask yourself is, what do I want the reader to get out of this? And I'm going to discuss 6 points I came up with for me personally, and maybe they'll help you guys out as well, that I think I want my readers to get out of when I write a book. So we'll discuss that, and I'll use an example. I'll use Void, which I wrote 2 years ago. No, 2 years. Wow, it's been 2 years, but yeah, I'll use this book as an example. So let's get into it, shall we? Number 1, I hope readers will get lost in the world that I create in my books. For example, in the world of Void, when a reader picks up this book, I want people to get so into the story that they can picture themselves in the setting of the story, which is Los Angeles, modern time. I want them to be able to feel the waves coming off the ocean as they sit at the beach. I want them to be able to open up their window and actually hear the sounds of the city come alive for them, even though they're not in the city. I want them to get so into the book that they're in the world that they're reading about. So, for example, if someone was reading a fantasy story, like, let's say, or a young adult book like Shadowhunters, the Mortal Instruments books by Cassandra Clare, when you read those stories, you're so into it. You can imagine yourself living in modern day New York, traveling to all these other worlds and dimensions that they mentioned in the books. You can like feel the creepiness and the darkness creeping in on you when you read the first book, The City of Bones, when the main characters are descending into the actual City of Bones. That's what I want my readers to get when they read one of my books. Number 2, I hope readers will both fall in love and hate my characters that I create. What I mean by that is, when I create a story, I always create stories with both a protagonist and an antagonist, sometimes multiple protagonists and multiple antagonists. When a reader reads one of my stories, I want them to love the protagonist and hate the antagonist, or maybe throughout the story I'll switch it up and you'll end up hating the protagonist and feeling for the antagonist. It might be one of those stories, but either way, I want the readers to be invested in the characters I create, and that's the second biggest thing I want a reader to get out of reading one of my books. Number 3, I want the reader to feel powerful emotions whenever they read one of my books. So, for example, in Void, this is a contemporary romance drama, so there's a lot of heartache, a lot of really deep emotional scars that are dealt with in this book. A lot of different scenarios that will tug at the heartstrings. So you'll feel immense sadness, but you'll also feel, immense joy at certain moments. Is when the protagonist has a joyous moment occur, or you can actually feel the love that blooms between certain characters, and that's what I want my readers to get out of it. I'm also romantic, so whenever a reader can feel the love that is going on between your characters in a book, or any other emotion really, that is quite a wonderful thing. That's what I hope readers will get out of reading one of my books. Number 4, I hope that when the reader finishes reading one of my books, they'll become invested in me and my writing. So if they read Void and they like what they read, maybe they'll want to check out some of my other kinds of stories, like my horror stories. And they'll go to my Amazon page and pick up a copy, both physical or e-copy, of one of my horror books, or short stories. Maybe they'll go search me out on Wattpad and read some of my stories for free. I'd also hope that they'd want to get involved and sign up for my email newsletter, especially because they'll be able to get a free short story with it. I also hope they'll get involved in my social media profiles. They'll, ask me questions, get involved on the YouTube channel here, go to my Facebook page and leave pictures, or on Instagram on, them holding one of my books. That's what I hope they get out of it, is a more connected, interactive experience with me, the author, which is something I think social media has done very well of over the years. You definitely can feel way more connected to your favorite authors nowadays, and that's what I hope they get when they pick up one of my books. Number 5, and I can't emphasize this enough, this is probably the most important thing for me that I hope a reader will get when they pick up one of my copies of my books. I hope they're entertained and have fun. That's my biggest concern when a person gets a copy of my book. Forgetting the fact that I want to make this my business and I want to earn money, forgetting the fact that I want to create great stories and I want to get involved with more people on social media, putting all that aside, the main concern I have is that you guys have fun. I want you guys to enjoy the books, and even if their books have sad moments like this book does, and then there's really happy moments, there's scary moments, there's terrifying moments, and there's lots of high explosive action moments. Whatever it is, I want you guys to enjoy the story. That's what the first few points are all about. You guys can't get involved with the characters or feel like you're in the story itself, or feel those powerful emotions if you're not enjoying the story. So the reason I write, the reason why I hope you guys will pick up a copy of my books, is because I just want to entertain you guys. I'm not trying to write the next great American novel and win all sorts of awards. I just want to entertain you guys. And I have lots of great ideas, and that's what I hope to instill in my readers when they read one of my books. That should be the main concern for most authors who write fiction, especially. But for any author out there who wants to connect with readers, your main concern should definitely be entertaining or informing your audience. That way they feel connected to you in some way. But overall, just making sure that they have a good time reading the book. Even nonfiction memoirs, or how-to kind of style books. A reader has to enjoy your book in order for it to be a success. So that's what I hope a reader will get out of reading one of my books, and I hope that these tips have helped you guys as well. So there you guys go. This ended up being my top 5 tips for you budding authors out there and writers who want to write a book. These are the kind of questions you guys should be asking yourself. Yes, that's what I hope you guys get out of this video. I hope you guys will enjoy it and share it around for any other authors and readers and writers out there, anyone who enjoys books, but especially for those who want to get into the book writing process. I hope these are the kinds of questions that will help you to determine whether or not you want to go forward with writing a book. These are the 5 questions I always ask myself before I begin writing my next one, because I have to ask myself, will a reader be entertained? Will they get into my social media afterwards, or will they fall in love with the characters? All these kinds of questions go through my head whenever I'm writing, and I hope that they'll help you guys out too. So there you guys go. Those were my tips for what I hope a reader gets out of my books, and I hope they'll help you out too. Thank you for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, I'd please encourage you to please give this video a big thumbs up, like this video, comment on it, favorite it, and share it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and tuning into this video. And this is the Writer's Corner Podcast. I do an episode every 2 weeks here on the Writer's Corner Podcast. And if you're listening to this on iTunes or SoundCloud, thank you for listening, and please subscribe to the podcast. That'd be great. And leave your comments in the review section. That'd be so awesome. If you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you leave them down in the comment section below in this video. And all my social media is down in the description if you feel like hanging out and following me on there. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been your host, author Anthony Avina, and I will see you in 2 weeks for the next episode of the Writer's Corner Podcast. I'll see you then. Long days and pleasant nights, my friends.